In this first episode of Out of the Groove, Kyle Larson gets his first career win, Kyle Busch still hates shrubbery, and we throw it forward to the throwback weekend at Darlington. Hi there guys, I'm Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. Now that Michigan is over, we officially have 2 races left before the NASCAR chase. We've got a lot of potential favorites. The Penske cars, every Toyota, never rule out Jimmy Johnson. Even Kevin Harvick just won it a couple years ago. But perhaps we have a new member on that list. Kyle Larson got his first career Sprint Cup victory yesterday at Michigan, and I know what you're thinking. About time. What took him so long? God, I wish Chase Elliott won. I know you 24 fans are thinking that. With this victory, Kyle Larson is officially in the 2016 chase for the Sprint Cup. And in my opinion, he should be considered one of the favorites. I mean, he may not be quite up there with the Gibbs cars or some of the Penske guys yet, but he's pretty good at all the tracks in the chase, and you know, that team's been consistently a top 10 team pretty much everywhere we go. Sure, he's only got the 1 win, and he's wrecked a lot, and he's had a lot of other problems, but as far as the actual team goes, I think they have consistently one of the best cars at every track we go to. If you look at all the drivers that are currently locked into the chase, I mean, there's really all but like 2 or 3 of them I think have a very good chance of winning the championship. In years past, there's been clear favorites at this point in the season, like Jimmy Johnson, or last couple years it's been Kevin Harvick, or last year I'd say Kyle Busch was probably the favorite. But right now this year, I don't think we have a single favorite. Sure, the Gibbs cars have probably been the most consistently best this year, but we've seen Chevys, Fords, we've seen all sorts of teams get victories at different tracks all across the circuit this year. And I honestly think Kyle Larson has as good a chance of winning this year as Joey Logano. Now, and as fun as Chris Buescher was a couple weeks ago, he's not going to win the chase. No, he's not going to make it even out of the first round. And as much as y'all hate me for saying it, Tony Stewart ain't going to go very far either. He might make it through the first round, but not much past that. Kyle Larson's victory this last weekend was long overdue. He should have at least 5 victories by now. He's been dominating in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series every time he goes over there. He's a great race car driver. He will be a future champion if you ask me, and I can't wait to see what he does in years to come. In other news, Kyle Busch spun out early in Sunday's Michigan race, managed to save the car, kept it from getting too much damage, but he ultimately went a lap down and it hurt his day. He ended up finishing 19th. Now Kyle Busch is starting to fall back into that hole he was in a few years ago. When Kyle first got into the sport, he was who he was, nobody really cared about him, but before long he really built up quite a reputation for rubbing people the wrong way, reacting poorly to situations, and just kind of being a jackass out on the racetrack. But I think most people would agree that he hit a turning point at the end of 2011. At Texas Motor Speedway near the end of 2011, he wrecked a guy under caution in the Truck Series at high speeds, ultimately led him to being suspended that week, and it was a mess. It was the lowest point for Kyle Busch. I mean, the guy's been in fights with, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski. Who has he not gotten into, some sort of on-track altercation with? Let's be honest. But after that incident, you could just tell that he was he was putting an effort to mature and just become a better person, a more well-rounded person. And now he's got a kid, and he looks like that mature father figure. You know, he's grown up a ton until recently. In the last few weeks, and it might have been this whole year, I don't know, I've noticed he seems edgier than he's been recently. Comments he's been making on the radio and in interviews, he's getting a little full of himself. And it could be because he just won a championship, so now he expects so much more from his team. Joe Gibbs Racing is already basically tops on in NASCAR right now. You don't got much to be complaining about. And I want to like Kyle. He's a great race car driver. He drives for a great team. His sponsor is M&M's. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going for him, but he's just still comes across as too arrogant for most people, I think, to enjoy watching him. Also, a late-breaking story from yesterday, Brad Keselowski, his 2-car finished 3rd in the race. He failed post-race inspection, the little laser thingy, so that will probably be, a 15-point penalty and like a $25,000 fine. That's what it's been all year. I think Larson got busted for it this year. Kenseth obviously did. Keselowski, it's going to be a mediocre fine. I do think, though, since a lot of people have been failing the LIS inspections, pre-race mostly, or pre-qualifying, that it's been failed a ton. That's why there's been so many written warnings and stuff to teams this year. It's outrageous. The actual penalty for the post-race infraction, I mean, granted, it's not a major infraction when one of these parts fails or whatever and it causes the LIS thing to go all wonky. It's not a major infraction, but at the end of the day, I think that next year they're going to have to up these penalties a little bit. I think every penalty in general needs to be upped, especially for technological things and stuff with the cars themselves needs to be, I think, punished to a higher degree than, of course, the driver conduct has been, they blow that out of proportion all the time. They act like whenever a guy gets in a fight with a dude, it's either really good for the sport or it's horrible and we have to crack the whip on him. I think that needs to change. Driver conduct stuff, unless it's blatant and unsafe, doesn't need to be penalized. Whereas mechanical stuff on the cars themselves should be penalized to a higher degree because they ultimately take away from the fairness of the sport in general. So I think next year NASCAR needs to tweak those penalties at least a little bit, bring one up, bring the other one down just a tad, just to really discourage teams from pushing these limits and making things just unfair for other teams. Alright, so as you all very well know, next weekend at Darlington is the official NASCAR throwback weekend. It's the second year in a row they've done this, and they got a lot of drivers out there with different throwback paint schemes. Some look really good, some look really bad. I put together a quick little video clip talking about some of my personal favorites and some of the ones I think look like crap. So let's check it out, shall we? Darlington throwback winners and losers. Over the past couple months, we've seen nearly every driver unveil some sort of throwback paint scheme. Every team has said they're doing it for the fans as a way to honor past drivers, but clearly it's just a marketing scheme for all these companies. And a pretty good one too. Let's analyze a few of these cars, shall we? Kyle Busch, winner. I mean, check it out. Reminds us of Danica's old car. Dale Jr., loser. I mean, I know he's gonna miss the race, but the car itself is basically a hollow shell of his usual Nationwide car. They basically just replaced the blue with black. Joey Logano, winner. As much as I hate to admit it, this car looks pretty sweet. Still would look better on a record though. Ricky Stenhouse, loser. I mean, it looks awful. Good thing we'll probably not see it too much. Matt Kenseth, winner. For real, that's a classic looking paint scheme right there. Only now we're subject to more of Darrell Waltrip's witty humor. Casey Kane, loser. The color is like the same as a red onion. Poor Casey still can't catch a break.
And Casey Kane falls into a pit and dies! No, Casey!
Kurt Busch. Kurt himself might be a winner because this car looks pretty cool, but in all honesty it looks almost no different from his usual car. Might I offer up an alternative suggestion? A lot has been made about which throwback car looks the coolest, but I want to know which one looks the worst. Let me know in the comments. Now back to the show. I threw that video together in like an hour the other day, so yeah, and I think that's about it for episode 1 of Out of the Groove. Thank you all so much for watching. Please share this around. Tell your friends if they love NASCAR. Please tell them about the show. Introduce them to it because I really think they'll enjoy it. I hope you did too. My next episode will be Friday, previewing the Darlington race. I'll continue to be uploading episodes throughout at least the end of the NASCAR season on Mondays and Fridays, so please stay tuned for those. I'm also planning on trying to do a few NASCAR parodies before Christmas. I don't know if they'll be as big as the Star Wars ones, but I will at least be trying to do some mini clips of NASCAR parodies before then to keep that going because I know a lot of y'all like that. Thank you all so much for watching once again. I'm Eric, and I'll see you later this week.